The semi-final that I thought would never happen, happened, and Argentina, having been the team that has really seen the most criticism given to Ian Foster throughout his tenure, we put them to bed. I never thought we would even get to the semi-finals, but here we are in a final. Unbelievable. After 6 years of becoming disillusioned with the All Blacks, apathetic to their performances, in the last 2 weeks I've finally started to see the team that I watched growing up as a child. This is the All Blacks team that I fell in love with. This is the All Blacks team that got me hooked on rugby for life. And wow, what a game it was against Argentina. My name's Max, I'm the host over here at the Black Jersey, and I want to say a massive thank you to my patrons because this is something I never thought was possible, and I'm absolutely blessed to be able to cover this. The All Blacks ahead as the World Cup final. I'm not going to waste any more time. I'm going to break down exactly how they beat Los Pumas and made their way to a place that was against all odds. Let's get into this. Ian Foster did admit after the game that he's keen for the team to have a sharper start, as Emiliano Buffelli's boot got Argentina on the scoreboard first. Argentina, though, don't really help themselves with retaining the lead. A lot of this World Cup has been about taking mauls down. Compared to 2019, that tournament was kind of about who could have the best maul. In a few previous videos, such as this French example from the quarterfinal, whether they're in an attacking or defending position, are getting into a similar shape as a scrum. As we see from this French example over here, we have Olivon and Aldrit lifting Wolke, while Antonio binds to Aldrit during the lift, as Jalonche and Flamont look to pack down alongside him in a straight replica of a front row formation. On the sides, Dante and Bai can fill into a shape similar to flankers, while Malvaka is obviously intending to attach at the end. Now we'll cut to Argentina's maul defense on 9:56 on the clock to compare them. Lavanini, after lifting Petty, has packed down next to Issa and Gonzalez, who is at the back of the lineout where most open side flankers will be found. Gajo, however, gets his bind wrong. Because he's got his arm wrapped around Barrett's midriff, he now controls the momentum of the maul because he's applying pressure to the spot where I've put the red cross. With Petty already on the ground after contesting for the ball, Argentina are 2 men down already. Because the momentum of their defense is curving, the All Blacks get an advantage. After the mauls collapse due to pressure, Aaron Smith now has the space for a tap and go. On 10:26, Julian Montoya though does something absolutely unforgivable. Buffelli and Issa are in a reasonable position to reach Montoya's spot as they defended 2 phases ago. This gives Montoya the opportunity to shift to the open side alongside Chocobares so that Issa and Buffelli can mark Whitelock and De Groot. Because Montoya remains in place, however, Whitelock is able to become the key distributor for a well-worked strike play. Now that we've labelled the players and who the components are in the play, we'll notice how he's got the midfield as the 2 options on his outside so that Mwonga, who is literally the size of an average person, can get protected from a big shot. Having the midfield as the distributors allows for Mwonga and Talia to wrap around as Beauden Barrett shifts to his right to have Jordan on the outside. Now as we fast forward to Mwonga weighing up his 3 passing options, he makes the wise decision to go for Jordan. As Carreras is stuck in a 2-on-1 with Cincy also side on, Jordan is simply the logical choice. When the All Blacks are on, they're always going to score a lot of points, so let's check out the next lot. The animation I've developed that you can see on screen has probably been referenced at least 15 times on this channel, so for those who are new here, the idea of what you see is to use a 3-man pod of forwards to send a pass out the back to a distributor who gets hidden from the defense line so that they have less pressure while enabling an attack. As we cut back to the test, seeing De Groot check for this chance 1 phase earlier, we can now see a real life example, because Lomax and Kane are in a bit of a wider stance than a 3-man pod normally takes. Whitelock has the room to give Mwonga the ball, while Kane can bind to him for a carry that we animate here if Mwonga doesn't ask for the ball. The way Mwonga wants to use this play is very reminiscent to the footage we see from Melbourne earlier this season, as now that we cut back, Beauden Barrett is wrapping around with Jordan. Because of the wraparound, Malia needs to mark 2 players at once from 15 as the defensive lines show us. Buffelli is made to sprint across from the right wing as he ultimately misses the tackle on Jordie Barrett, who gets in for the first try. As my mate Zach from Hakatime Rugby said after the game, the best All Black sides head into halftime right after getting a try. After 10 phases, Talia beats 5 defenders off a carry to prove Zach's point. After Talia lands, we pick up on a bit of a disconnect between Los Pumas, as Issa is pretty keen to save the try for his 50th test. We now highlight how Gajo still isn't got onside though, while Carreras doesn't seem to know that Kramer and Petty are here. Because Kramer has only just arrived back on side, Carreras guards the fringes of the ruck himself, which prevents Los Pumas from tracking across. While they're There are only 4 All Blacks on the blind side when the wide shot comes into our sight. The 5 Argentinian defenders have left some space for Mo'unga and Frizell. Mo'unga does what any decent 10 does. Through the bird's eye view, it proves that he can probably score himself. He passes though, to guarantee the try for the team. Frizell is probably a little bit shaky with dotting the ball down, but it's legal and the halftime score is 20-6. Now we're going to go over a few of the halftime stats to kind of examine why the All Blacks are getting ahead and what these tactics are impacting the overall match with. So first off, the All Blacks are dominating the possession compared to Argentina dominating the territory, so that's a bit of a funny one. It's leading to a fair few evenness with the meters run, but the All Blacks having a far stronger pack of beaten more defenders, and you can see they're putting far more strategy into their play with the clean breaks, whereas Argentina, the right Pumas team didn't turn up. You never know what Pumas team is going to turn up, and the right one just did not turn up for this match. They were looking a bit tired after facing Wales, and they were giving the All Blacks a lot of room to make those offloads that are probably inflated by the possession stats. But the key thing as well is that the All Blacks were not giving them any room to fire at the breakdown. Their defense at the breakdown got exposed. Their ability to turn the ball over got exposed with some just ferocious cleaning out, no room taken. The All Blacks are doing some good prep for either England or South Africa based on who wins. I'm recording this video before the other semi-final, but anyway, 3 turnovers compared to 1, very, very useful. And the thing is with the All Blacks, despite dominating the possession, they've made already 121 tackle attempts compared to Argentina's 80, but they are leading that. That's a big key because although the All Blacks were doing really good stuff with ball in hand, showing the flashiness, defense wins games, and that is proving that mindset. Although Mo'unga's goal kicking wasn't exactly as good as it normally is, the ruck success, as we can show, the All Blacks are continuing to bully Argentina in the breakdown, as that stat proves to us. The set piece, once again, dominant, and of course, Argentina, the reason they got over the line against Japan and Wales, getting those 2 back-to-back convincing victories at the end of the game, just sealing the deal, is that this time they have far worse discipline. Their discipline was very good in those games, but this time when it's bad, they got punished, and because their discipline was down, their heads went down, and their form alongside with it. Not very good for Argentina. We'll now examine the second half to see how the ball got rolling and the final score really got told. To begin the second half, I don't think there's really much analysis to do here. Bertrand was looking to shift towards the open side, but as we zoom in, we can see the tilt of Smith's right foot towards the inside. He completes the step with Bertrand as we zoom out, only having a single arm to complete the tackle. As Smith begins to bust the line though, note the work rate of Taylor and of Scott Barrett, who both look to Smith. This All Black side, unlike the one that lost to Ireland at home, are playing with the mana and playing with the willingness to save this country. Smith isn't isolated like how he would have been last year. He's fully supported by his team as he can throw a realistic dummy to Malia as he runs towards the try line. Further proof of the healing and just the general ability to recover from everything that's happened in this All Black side, that has been the evolution of Shannon Frizell, who we'll talk about again. Against the same opposition, Argentina, in their first ever win over the All Blacks in 2020, we can see Nicolas Sanchez finding the space in behind, aiming for the ball to land on the red cross. Frizell, as we can see, has his foot out to try and trip Sanchez up for a cheap shot, and then lazily makes no effort to get back on side. A lucky bounce that allows for Sanchez to score the try. Now, I've met Shannon Frizell twice in person myself. The first time I met him was in the Highlanders beat the Crusaders. He've been in really high spirits, of course. He was a bit of a joker, seemed like a real nice guy, just having a laugh with his mates, stuff like that. But the second time I met Frizell, it was like I was meeting a totally different person. This was a man with mana. This was a man who stood with brilliant posture. He stood well, everything like that. And simply put, you can see that evolution of Frizell on the pitch. He never had such natural aggression on the pitch. He was always just another body on the pitch prior to Ryan's arrival, as the forwards coach of the All Blacks. Now, Frizell plays like the finished product. He plays like someone who is playing for his coach, and just the general changes of Frizell, it's been absolutely crazy. Perhaps becoming a father has really found him somewhere to channel his aggression as well, and the same aggression saw him get in trouble with the law and stuff in the past, but you know, the fact that he's been able to just harness all of this aggression, it's been amazing to watch. I cannot stop talking about it. The same aggression that Frizell naturally had and was in trouble for 2 years ago has now been harnessed by a proper hard man of a forwards coach who wants nothing more than to see him working his bum off. In the 14th phase, Frizell is here to clean out around Talia before again in the 17th phase, he's ready to follow this animation and get bound to by Taylor to make some meters. Having matured into the finished product though, he sends the ball out the back to Jordie Barrett as Lomax gets close to scoring. The hunger from Frizell though, harnessed by Ryan, I'll say that a third time, now sees him next to the ruck around Lomax, defines the ball. Frizell now shows the presence of mind again to slot between Gonzalez and Petty, enabling him to score the try. Will Jordan's second try is pretty easily scored, while Scott Barrett's yellow card was justified, but boy do we have something to look at for Jordan's third try. Before I explain the innovation behind what's happening, what we see is a four-man lineup before Ardie Savea pops up as the first receiver. He's in a two-man pod with Fletcher Newell, while Jordie Barrett has come along as his outside option to give them a diamond-shaped formation like the one you can now see on screen. Now that we've seen what's happening, I want to show you guys that I've seen variations of this formation before. All of them have a vastly different result though. Against France, I suspect a prototype was in use, as we can see Savea is the closest carrier to the lineout in a two-man pod with Papali'i. Leonard Brown is in at 12 exactly where Jordie Barrett is against Argentina. Against Ireland, Savea is in a diamond-shaped pod, flanked by Lomax and Kane, except Mo'unga is between the pod and the lineout. The common denominator between all three of these calls though, it is that Will Jordan is always involved with the strike play. Against France, Savea simply chip kicks to Jordan himself, with Jordan standing in as the inside option to start with. Against Ireland, Mo'unga uses Savea in the pod to suck in the attention of Van der Fleer, Sexton and Doris before he capitalises on Sheehan wanting to tackle him. Sheehan, by wanting to tackle Mo'unga, now opens a hole for Jordan on the inside. I think that this version against Argentina could become the deadliest variation ahead of the World Cup final, because the pod is formed on 72-48. Jordan, rather than just being a distributor out the back, is coming onto the ball at pace to slice through the defence like a ninja and some fruit. Taking the inside pass, Jordan now has the ability to chip and chase over Malia, using his natural skill set to finish off an unbelievably scary prospect for the opposition in the World Cup final. And the final score of this match, it is 44-6. Even after the All Blacks chose not to replace Scott Barrett after he got yellow carded. Very interesting to see that, just saving room and saving energy for that final. For the full-time stats, well, the All Blacks are now ahead for both territory and possession, showing they really just turn the tide, further establish their dominance over the game, showing that, you know, maybe Ian Foster was right about needing perhaps a little bit much of a better start, but man, just look at all these attacking stats. This is an All Blacks team who believes in themselves. This is a team that is settled. This is not the team from 2 years ago who had no set structure. This team is very, very well controlled by its leadership group. This is not a team with a lack of hierarchy, but the hierarchy in the current team, it still allows these guys to be normal people enjoying themselves and enjoying their rugby. Unlike earlier this year, I can see a bunch of All Blacks who are actually playing rugby the way they did as kids, except it's all structured because that's how they want to get the best out of themselves at this high of a level. The tackle stats though, that hurt Argentina big time. As we can see, 192 attempted tackles compared to the All Blacks 185. Very similar, but very different tackle percentages. That's because the All Blacks were doing really well, like how South Africa did to France. They were doing really well at catching the opposition between their attack and between their defense, really just shaking them up mentally and having that psychological edge over Los Pumas. I'm not an expert on psychology though, so maybe a 50% goal kicking ratio won't give us the best mental edge against a team like England or South Africa. Mo'unga, I'm just happy he got this bad kicking percentage over and done with before the final. I don't think I'm going to have too much of a growl because, man, we're in the World Cup final. Awesome to see that. The ruck success as well, man, though. Excellent to see we continued that domination of the breakdown as well. It was very, very helpful to just continue doing that. What impact Fletcher Newell and Tamaiti Williams had off the bench, honestly, guys. And the set piece, awesome to see the line at dominance. Awesome to see the scrum going well as well. I'm so happy with just how our front row's been across the last year. Ethan de Groot, man, gonna go down as our best ever loose head prop. Tyrell Lomax, awesome to see him finally realise his potential. What a game he had. And Argentina, They did not help themselves. They conceded a total of 10 penalties across this game, whereas the All Blacks, including Scott Barrett's yellow card, only conceded 8 penalties, so that was definitely an advantage as well. The thing is though, will England or South Africa be able to let us off that easily? Will they be better disciplined than the All Blacks? Who knows? But man, seeing the improvement this team has made over the last year, seeing that even the improvement they've made since they lost to France and they lost to South Africa at Twickenham, all this improvement that we've seen is worth more than what any trophy could bring us. This is, like I said, the team that I grew up watching. I had not seen the team I grew up watching play since 2016, and I'm absolutely thrilled to see the All Blacks playing this way. You know, I'm really feeling like my proper love, my proper happiness, my proper enjoyment for the team coming back out, and I'm actually properly smiling over stuff about NZ Rugby that's not the Black Ferns. I've got a lot of editing to do for this video, guys. It is going to be one heck of a World Cup final, so I'll be editing and videoing the next semi next. I don't know who's going to be the winner of that next one because of when I'm recording this video, because goodness me, stuff's happening. It's getting real. The World Cup final is less than a week away, and go the All Blacks is what I have to say. Thank you so much one more time to my patrons, and just remember as well, guys, like this video, subscribe to me, and comment your thoughts if you enjoyed it. You can also support me over on Instagram, over on Threads, and over on Rumble to find my early pieces on the World Cup from round 1 and round 2. And that is going to be me signing out. My name's Max, I'm the host here at the Black Jersey, and thank you for watching.